Hey everybody, and welcome to my channel. My name is Kimber Kelly with Rustic Touch Beauty. I'm a licensed cosmetologist of 10 years now and a self-taught makeup artist. I love skincare, pretty much all things beauty. So if you are here wanting to learn about all things beauty, then make sure to tap that bell and subscribe to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking all about eyeshadow. So this week was trying to figure out what I wanted my video to be on, and I felt like I've never actually taught on eyeshadow. A lot of my videos on Instagram and TikTok are kind of me just showing an eyeshadow combo, but I've never really taken the time to really dig deeper into eyeshadow and maybe help you guys find what eyeshadows would work best for your eyes. There are many different types of eye shapes out there, and so the one I'm going to be doing today is obviously one that works for my type of eyes, but I'm also going to be giving you guys some tips and tricks for those of you who have oily eyelids, hooded eyes, mature eyes, all those types of things. So if that interests you, then keep watching. Okay, before I show you how to do this amazingly beautiful, natural, easy eyeshadow look, I have an important announcement. I am running a giveaway, and in that giveaway, I am including these 3 eyeshadow brushes. I'm going to use them throughout this video. You're technically getting 6 because all of our brushes are double-ended. I am also giving away our Demi palette 20, and I love this palette. I should have brought it over here to show you guys, but it has a ginormous mirror on it. It's one layer, similar to these, but it's just one layer. Comes with a bigger mirror than this one, and I love it because it fits a good amount of eyeshadows in it, as well as 6, how many fingers is 6? 6 eyeshadows. So brushes, palette, and 6 eyeshadows. All you have to do to enter this giveaway is like this video, leave me a comment below and let me know how you liked the video. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel and share this video to one of your social media platforms, whether that's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Can you share them to TikTok? One of your social media platforms. Make sure you share this video and give me a little shout out. And once you do those 4 things, you will be entered into the giveaway. I will be announcing the winner of this giveaway on Wednesday, March 24th. So without further ado, let's get started on this tutorial. All right, so if you are new around here, I am an artist for a makeup company called Saint. The makeup I'm going to be using today is from Saint. I love our eyeshadows, and this is what my compact looks like right here. What I love about it is all my makeup fits in one single compact. So these are lip and cheek colors. These are illuminators down here. This is contour, bronzer, highlights, and then I like to keep my eyeshadows on top because there's this pretty little mirror right here, and so when I'm doing my eyes, I want to be able to see them. One trick I have with this makeup, if you are going to get a palette with multiple layers, to keep your powders separate. If you look up close, see how it's kind of got some eyeshadow all along here? That is why I keep my powders separate, because I don't want my eyeshadows getting into my highlights or my contours. I don't need sparkles where sparkles aren't needed. So I like to keep my eyeshadows separate. Any of my powders I keep separate from my creams. Saint makeup is all cream, and so I like to just put them on the top layer because there's a mirror there and it's easier to see. So let's talk about, how do you know if you're getting a quality eyeshadow? This was something that I actually did not know for a long time, as to like, how do I tell if this is being way overpriced, if it's underpriced? There's a reason why there's cheap eyeshadows. There's a reason why there's expensive eyeshadows. Sometimes Saint's eyeshadows are all $12, okay? Which personally, for the amount that you get with an eyeshadow, I think they're way underpriced. But I'm not going to tell them that. So you are definitely getting your bang for your buck with these little babies. They look small, but it will last you forever. And they are super, super pigmented. So some things to look for when you're shopping for eyeshadows and you want to make sure you're not totally getting ripped off. First tip, I want you to take your eyeshadow and literally just dab your finger in that eyeshadow and apply it to your skin. See how much comes off. If you can barely see the color, that is a cheap eyeshadow. If you do one swipe and you can already see that eyeshadow showing up, that is a super pigmented eyeshadow, and that's a good eyeshadow. Saints, what I love about their eyeshadows is they are very, very buildable. So the more I put on, the darker that color is going to get. See how it keeps getting darker the more I put on? But the more you apply, the darker that color is going to get. Tip number 2. When you dip your hand in that eyeshadow, get that on the end of your finger like this, and then I want you to really rub it pretty stinking good between your fingers, okay? Just like that. See how you can still see the color? I'm gonna block my face. That tells me that eyeshadow is going to stay on my eyelid all day. I'm rubbing pretty hard, and that is not going anywhere. With cheap eyeshadows, you give it one rub and it's gone, and you're like, where'd the eyeshadow go? But with this one, I am trying to rub it off, okay? It's not coming off. It is not coming off. So that tells me that that's gonna last on my eyelids all day, as long as I prep my eyelids right. Tip number 3, look at the amount of grams that you're getting with your eyeshadow. Saints eyeshadows, you get 2.1 grams of eyeshadow. So if you look at this tin, it's actually pretty thick. Okay, that is a pretty good sized tin right there, full of eyeshadow. And the eyeshadow comes all the way to the top. I don't know if you can see that, but that eyeshadow is all the way to the top. Most eyeshadows range at about 1.6 grams. I was just at Sephora today and I was taking a look at the grams in their eyeshadows. I think it was in Anastasia eyeshadow, and it was actually a build your own palette. So that struck my interest. Oh, you can build your own palette with Saint makeup. So I'm curious how many grams come in this one if you can build your own. You could only build up to 4 though. With Saint, you can build up as many as you want. But I took a look at the grams and it was 1.6 grams. And I noticed that the eyeshadow didn't come all the way to the top of the tin. So you kind of got cheated a little bit on even the gram of eyeshadow that you got. So those are my 3 tips when you are trying to find a good eyeshadow. If this makeup interests you, I will drop my color match form below in the description box, and go ahead and click on that, and I will get you matched with all of our highlights, foundation, as well as my favorite eyeshadow combo, and you can even customize it from there. Everything within this palette is completely customized. The palette comes empty and I build it with whatever colors I want. My first tip for those of you who have either oily eyelids, you have really mature eyelids, maybe you have hooded eyelids, is to make sure you prep your eyelid correctly, especially oily eyelids. I have slightly oily eyelids, and so you want to make sure you are putting powder on top of powder. So one trick you can do is either grab your setting powder. We have a great setting powder at Saint and it's called Vanilla Dust. Another one of my favorite ones is from Laura Mercier. You know what I'm trying to say. Before I put any eyeshadow on, I'm going to apply that powder to my eyelids, because when you put powder on top of powder, it's going to stay better on your skin. So you can either do this trick with setting powder like I'm doing, or you can grab an eyeshadow color that's really close to your natural eyelid color and use that as a base. Both of those techniques will work great. A couple good colors that are great as a base eyeshadow color is Cupcake, Stay Golden, Chai, and I really like Pup. Pup is incredible on hooded eyes. So this is what Cupcake looks like. You can see I use it quite a bit because I'm finally down to the tin. But Cupcake is pretty much Vanilla Dust setting powder, just with pigment in it. Our Vanilla Dust is translucent because it's a setting powder, but since this Cupcake is an eyeshadow, it's just more pigmented, but it's essentially the same color. So this is a great one as a base. I'm gonna go ahead and do that using the Smudge Brush. So this one is, I'm basically just showing you what it would look like if I used eyeshadow instead of a setting powder as my base. So see how you can already see that versus the setting powder you couldn't really see because it's a translucent powder. Okay, so that's gonna be kind of my base for my eyeshadow. If you've ever run into the problem when you're putting a darker color like right here and you're like, this looks really patchy, or it's already kind of creasing, it's kind of just not blending, there's like holes almost within that color, then that means you didn't put enough powder on as your base. So just keep that in mind. Powder on top of powder. You have to prep your eyelids as best as you can in order for that pigment to really grab on and stay on. Okay, we didn't really talk about brushes. So Saint has like the most incredible brushes, and what I love about them is they're all double-ended. So you're getting 2 brushes for one. This one is the eyeshadow brush, and you can literally do your whole eyeshadow combo routine with just this brush. This is the brush I use by far the most. This one is great for blending. You can see that it's got a lot of movement to it. It's fluffier. It's just a really good brush for, hopefully you can see that. It's just a really good brush for blending. So I love using this brush up here on my brow bone. On the other end, it's a little more dense. It's smaller, a little more dense, but it still has some give to it. So this one I love for if I'm applying colors like right here in the corner, or I want to do kind of like a liner on top or like a smoky eye on the bottom. This brush is great for that. The next one is the Smudge Brush. I'll be honest, I don't use this one as much, but this one is great for picking up a lot of pigment without really having to dip it very much. This little kind of domed end, it's kind of like it's a bigger version of this one, if you guys can kind of see that, of the eyeshadow brush. And so it's a little more dense, but it still has some give to it. But you're gonna be able to be more precise with color. So if I want a certain color right here, it's going to apply that color only right there. So I like using this one kind of like right here in my crease because I know that that color is gonna stay right where I'm putting it. And then this is, ooh, you see that powder coming off? This is what I used to apply my base because it grabs, again, it's dense, it grabs a good amount of color on here. It covers a good amount of surface, but it's also great for smudging. So if you're kind of trying to do like an ombre look to your eyelid, this is great for blending like those colors together so it really just flows seamlessly versus looking like separate colors. Then we have the Multitasker Brush. For obvious reasons, it does it all. You can use it on your eyes, you can use it on your lips, you can use it for like a lip liner. I love this end for if I have a blemish that I want to just really focus and pinpoint on. and I'm doing it right here because you can see I've got a scar right here. But I love using this end because it gets it very precisely right where I want it. This is also great for applying eyeliner, as well as this end. Like I said, this one is great on the lips, or I love using it if I am wanting to keep something super, super pigmented, like our shimmers, and you're wanting those to be thicker. This one's great because you can kind of like pat that color on there. So these would be the 3 brushes that I would say I use the most for eyeshadows, but the eyeshadow brush, it's just my go-to. It's so easy because you can literally do your whole routine with just this guy. All right, so for my hooded eye girls, what is a hooded eye? Maybe we should start with that first. What exactly is a hooded eye? A hooded eye is when the skin kind of up here just completely, I'm trying to do it, just completely like covers this whole part of your eye. So if you can't see that when your eyes are open, then you probably have a hooded eye. But the trick that I always tell my clients who have this is, and I will say, you guys, most eyes are hooded than not hooded. I think looking at mine is kind of an anomaly because you can see my eyelids while my eyes are open and not just when they're closed. And so if you have hooded eyelids, you are going to want to take your color up onto this brow bone. So feel for your brow bone, and that is where you're going to want to apply kind of your medium pigmented color. So for this one, I am going to start with the color Basic. It looks like this right here. Dipping my brush in there, I tap off the excess, okay? And then you're gonna go just ever so slightly on that brow bone. And I mean, it feels like someone is almost like blowing on your eye. That's how light you want to go. You almost don't even want to feel the brush on your eye. You want to go very, very light. So I'm going to keep building up that color, tapping off that excess, just like that. And if you can see your eyelid moving like that, you're putting too much pressure. This fluffy brush is meant to just very, very lightly apply that color. So I'm staying right on that brow bone, and you can see how I'm starting to build up that color on that bone. And I'm keeping it right here. Can you see how it's starting to add depth to my eye? And you want to kind of go in like a windshield wiper motion. That's kind of what I call that. And notice too where I'm holding the brush. I'm holding that brush at the very end because you want the bristles to do the work for you. You don't want to be down here doing like this and being all intense with it. So the more you hold it on the end, the more the bristles in the brush kind of do the work, and you're just kind of driving the vehicle, okay? You're putting it in the motions that it needs to go in while the bristles doing the work. Colors we've used so far, Cupcake and Basic. And then in between, I like to use my little eyeshadow tile sponge here. And this just kind of gets off any excess shadows that I have and kind of cleans up that brush. If I want to use this brush next, it kind of cleans that off and gets me ready for my next color. Speaking of dark colors, I'm going to move on to a darker color. So the next one in my palette I'm using is right here. This is Cocoa. I love this color, you guys. So we've used Cupcake, Basic, and Cocoa. We're kind of staying right here in these neutral colors. You can see based on my palette, I really, really like neutral colors. I'm going to use that dome end of the smudge brush Okay, barely tapping that bristle in there, and I'm focusing this color on the outside of my eye. And again, just want to build up that depth until you get the depth that you're looking for. Notice how I'm kind of tapping that on there versus swiping it. I'm kind of dabbing that color right up in there. I'm going to take this brush and I'm going to kind of soften that line from where I stopped and kind of push it into the middle to help blend it out. Same on this side. Once we're all done, I'm going to show you guys how I clean up spots like that. All right, next color that I'm going to use in my palette is called Valencia. It looks like this one. And this one's going to be kind of a mid-eye tone on my eyelids. So I'm using that smudge brush still. I'm using that smaller domed end. Tap off any excess. And then I'm going to start building up that color kind of right in the center of my eye. This is going to be pretty subtle color, but I love the neutral combo that it gives to eyes. A little messy, but that's fine. We're going to be able to fix that. Okay, last color that I use, and I'm going to grab that eyeshadow brush again, but I'm going to use this smaller end. We're going to use Drift. I love putting shimmers kind of right here on the inner corner of my eyes. And I will say, here's kind of like a mature skin tip. Don't put shimmers all over your eyelids. Don't do it. It's going to accentuate texture that you just don't want. So if you want a little bit of shimmer to your eyes, I highly recommend just putting a teeny bit on the inner corner of your eye. So I love Drift for this one because it is fairly neutral. It's gonna give you shimmer, but not too much shimmer. This is one of our newer shades that launched just a couple months ago at Christmas time, and it is one of my favorites. So I am just applying that right here in the corner. And this is going to just really make my eyes pop. And you can also build up that shimmer as well. The more you keep applying to those same areas, the more shimmery it's going to look. Then a little trick I do, this is the powder brush, but I'm not going to use it for powder. I'm actually going to dip it into my brightening highlight just ever so slightly. And I'm going to take that brush and we're just going to clean up the ends. Okay, the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the smudge side of the smudge brush, dip it just a little bit into cocoa, and I'm going to kind of give my eye like a smoky eye, just like that. And kind of meet it with the shimmer that I applied, so kind of meet the two together. And you can even take the eyeshadow brush if you're wanting to blend that shimmer out even more. And I will say, normally I don't have mascara on before I've done my eyeshadow, but I've been doing a bunch of different filming today, and so my mascara was already on. I'm just gonna quick reapply my mascara. The one I've been using lately is from Red Aspen. It's called Pump It Up Maggie. It looks like this, and I actually really like it. The bristle on it is awesome. It really helps with adding thickness to your lashes. So if you are someone who maybe you like the length but you wish it was thicker, this would be an awesome mascara for you to try. I really, really love this mascara on my bottom lashes because my bottom lashes do not have much thickness to them, and so I like the amount of thickness that it adds to them. All right, so my eyes are done. Hopefully that wasn't too overwhelming, but you learned a couple things. I actually don't think I mentioned this in the beginning. But I prep my eyelids with my highlight color, my contrasting highlight color, because the skin on our eyelids are very thin, and so you can see like every little vein. And so by putting your contrasting highlight on there, if you're familiar with Saint makeup, then you know what I'm talking about. I put a darker highlight on my eyelids to help kind of neutralize kind of the redness and those veins that are popping through. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. I will make sure to drop all the information below of the eyeshadow colors I used, the names of the brushes, the palette I used, my highlight colors, blush colors, all those things, so that you guys can go back to those and reference them if you want. If you are interested in a color match, that will also be in the description box below. It's simply just filling out a quick little form that better helps me choose what colors are going to be best for your specific skin tone. So you'll want to attach a makeup-free selfie in that form. Best way to do that is to take it in natural lighting. So behind the camera here is a window. So just take the photo exactly like that, where you have natural light shining right on you, straight on, so I can see your neck and your chest is preferred. If that's something that interests you, I would be happy to get you color matched, and you can go in and you can even choose whatever eyeshadows that you want. You can completely customize it. Here in my Big Mama palette, this is our artist palettes. We have a few things that are cream, but I keep like my powder illuminators here on the bottom. Then on this layer here is all of our matte eyeshadows, and then on the top is our shimmers and all things sparkles. So lots and lots of fun, but this is kind of the tonal family that I kind of stick to, because I like things very neutral, very simple, nothing too crazy. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to leave a comment if you enjoyed this video, and tap that bell, like this video, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next week.